Hey everybody, what is going on? It is your boy Izlogic.business, welcoming you to the Anarchy Analysis Prediction Series, where we're entering round 3 of MSI. We've got 3 series on our nice juicy docket, all best of 5s to boot. So let us get into this video with a lot to talk about. So let's kick things off with G2 versus Top Esports. This is an interesting one because it's the LEC first seed who narrowly lost out against T1 in an absolute banger of a best of 5 that went the whole way. But they came into a series against, I forget who they played, PSG, and absolutely thrashed them. And you kind of have to give a lot of credit to players like Broken Blade, who stepped up for the roster, who is actually the KDA leader in the entire tournament. Now, as for their opponents, it's the tried and true slow methodical style of Top that explodes with JackeyLove on the Rift. It's a bit of a nice, interesting matchup because obviously we've covered Top a couple of times so far during this series of MSI, and to be honest, they've done well. It's been pretty much the JackeyLove show through most of it, but Cream is slowly building up on the international stage, and the rest of his team, alongside Mako as well, are performing exceptionally well, and have kind of showcased why Top deserve to be at this tournament. Now, how do I think this one will go? I genuinely think this is probably one of the more explosive series that we will see during this tournament, because you've got two very kill-hungry bot lanes that want to just fight, and that's going to explode on the Rift in an out-and-out brawl. So I think it's going to be a 3-1. It's going to be quite close, but not close enough to be a full 5 games to G2. I think T1, arguably the toughest team to face in this tournament, outside of the LPL teams. It's very easy to lose out to them. They're obviously the reigning world champs, so G2 losing to them isn't that bad. Now here against Top, it could be a bit shaky, but I think if Broken Blade's able to get carries going against 369, 369 will probably be forced to play like his Ornn or Sion, and it's going to be a very kill-hungry Top matchup for Broken Blade to get going. Yike needs to find his footing early in the series, which may be hard against Tarzan, but he needs the confidence against the Chinese team, and I think it'll be close. G2 will probably lose game 1 and then bounce back and fire through games 2, 3, and 4 to absolutely dominate them, because also Caps is performing phenomenally on the international stage. It's been his best performance, I think, in a long time. And as such, you got to give G2 some props and some chances against the LPL second seed. Our second series sees Team Liquid taking on T1. This is either going to be a good showcase of the LCS's strength compared to the rest of the world, or just going to be an absolute blowout. Because T1 obviously took G2 to 5 games and beat them. If TL can do the same, that's a good sign for the top team in the LCS. And on an even footing with EU's good for the rest of the world. Now, I don't think that will be the result. I still think it will be a 3-0 to T1. But Faker's been caught out quite a bit during this tournament. And it's the rest of his team stepping up around him to kind of allow him to play this sort of, not useless style, but more so risque style that he is getting punished for. But hey, it's Faker, the greatest of all time, and T1 are still winning games, regardless of it. I think APA is obviously a very confidence-based player and does start talking shit throughout a series. I think that he may suffer if he gets absolutely humbled by Faker. But again, confidence plays a big part. I think it's a T1 3-1. Another 3-1 prediction. But don't expect APA to be quiet. I think if he picks up the first game, T1 may just use the emotion from it and absolutely destroy T1. I don't think that will happen though. And lastly, BLG versus Gen G. It's the first seeds of the Asian teams as the Chinese and Korean first seeds face off. It's going to be fun. I'm intrigued by how this will play out because Gen G haven't flopped at the international tournament just yet. And it's kind of been a tried and true thing that Gen G flop in every tournament they play in that's not Korean based. So the fact they're doing well here and they're winning in very good fashion is a good sign for them as a whole going into summer and then Worlds. Now, personally speaking, BLG had a shaky start during MSI, narrowly almost losing their first series to PSG. And we broke down that series. That's the last series I think we broke down, personally. It was pretty close to a PSG win, but pretty close is not close enough, and obviously PSG are no longer in the tournament. Whereas BLG in the upper bracket finals. So, realistically speaking, I would say BLG here are doing a lot better. Obviously, they just beat T1 3-1, which kind of shows some strength. I do think, though, T1 faltered in draft a little bit. I think most teams falter in draft so far in this tournament. But Gen G, their opponents, I think it'll be a close brawl. I think these two are fairly close on paper. Just looking at Gen G's previous results, a very close series with Top, as well as a blowout of Fnatic. So, to be honest, it's anyone's game. And I think Gen G will squeak it out 3-2, full 5 series, and it will probably end in absolute carnage. And we've got to talk about the mid lane matchup, Knight versus Chovy. It's an interesting, like, similar clash of styles that on the back of it, or on paper, will be probably very, very farm heavy, very CS heavy, and playing for the late. But again, you can't really say how a series will go until you've seen it. And I think that personally, it's a 3-2 Gen G that will be very close, that BLG could honestly 3-1. Any result is possible in this series, and any series is possible. But this one especially could just be very lopsided in one favor, or very, very close in another. And that's the sort of thing we like at an international tournament. The gameplay being exciting, close, unpredictable. And, you know, anything can happen here. Which is why, with my internet stays stable, which it has done today, I will be resuming streams. Upload-wise, I may get a chance to do the games that I've missed. But that's a if. But we do have, obviously, a few weeks after MSI to break them down. So, we'll get to that when we get to that. Thank you very much for joining me. I do know I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 series to break down, obviously, with you guys. But we'll see them then. And I'll see you guys later. Peace out.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings.